Hello and welcome to ONCA 101, Paying Directors and Officers of Ontario Nonprofits. My name is Benjamin Miller. I'm a lawyer who serves nonprofits and charities, and I'm of counsel with B.I.G Charity Law Group. In this video, I'll review the rules under Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act about paying directors and officers. And this is a question I get very often. Can we pay our directors and officers? Can we pay them for their work as directors and officers? Can they be employees of the organization? The answer is yes, sometimes no, it depends on the situation. So we'll review that for both nonprofits and charities. Just a quick disclaimer, the following presentation is general legal information, not legal advice. As you'll see, a lot of the rules are very fact-specific. So if you're facing a situation where you're really unsure whether you can proceed, it may be a good idea to talk to a competent legal advisor. I included my contact information at the end of this presentation, and you can also go to charitylawgroup.ca. So, can you pay directors and officers of nonprofits that aren't charities? If you're reimbursing them for out-of-pocket expenses that are reasonable, the answer is yes, absolutely you can. If you are paying them for other employment, let's say they're mowing your lawn, or they're a teacher at your nonprofit school, what have you. The answer is yes, but you have to follow the conflict of interest rules, which we discuss in another video. Can you pay them for their work as directors or officers? And the answer is if they're nonprofits that are not charities, yes you can, but again, you have to follow the conflict of interest rules. So this could take the form of an honorarium, it could take the form of an annual performance review bonus or something, but you absolutely can pay directors and officers for their work as directors and officers. Now the rules are different if your nonprofit is a charity. You can reimburse directors and officers for reasonable out-of-pocket expenses. You can sometimes pay them for other employment. Let's say they're a teacher or they're mowing your lawn, but you have to follow the regulations set out under the Charities Accounting Act, and I'll discuss this a bit on the next slide. You absolutely cannot pay them as directors and officers. You can't pay them for their work as directors and officers. So that's a categorical no. So a bit more on paying them for their work in other capacities. So the Public Guardian and Trustee, which is responsible for regulating charities in Ontario, has a very helpful guide that you can just Google called Payments to Directors and Connected Persons, that explains the steps you must follow if you're thinking about paying a director or officer of your charity for work they've done for you in other capacities, or if they're supplying you with goods or services through a business they own or something like that. Now, the rules are pretty detailed, so I'm not going to get into it here, but I'll just say that the fundamental principle at all times is that you must be able to show. So it's not just that it's in the best interest of the organization. You must be able to show that it's in the best interest of the charity. You need to be able to show that you considered and found that it was in the best interest of the charity. So that might mean doing things like looking at other prices, getting advice, negotiations, etc. The details, again, are very specific, and I encourage you to go to the guide. But ultimately, you put the organization's interests first and above all. So that's a general overview of paying directors and officers of nonprofits and charities in Ontario. If you have any questions or you're facing a situation and you'd like some advice, feel free to reach out to benjamin.miller@charitylawgroup.ca or visit charitylawgroup.ca, and I'm sure we'd be happy to help with your issue. Thanks so much for listening.